It doesn't. I don't want to sound, it's probably like being a firefighter who's been doing it for 50 years and just doesn't get all that upset by an auto accident anymore. But most of what we're talking about is just being human.
Exactly.
But the need to anesthetize pain is universal. Mm-hmm. Seek pleasure, avoid pain. And the research will tell you 10 out of 10 times, pain avoidance is much more motivating than seeking a higher good.
Yes.
Interesting.
Very much. In order to seek a higher good, a person has to suffer. And then you're called courageous, or you're called noble. You're not called normal. You're called something very special for overcoming pain in order to achieve higher good. And so if you think of that, pain avoidance is probably the most motivational, just stopping the pain or the discomfort. And what quicker, better, faster way than psychoactive substances? Yeah. An analgesic. What is an analgesic? It's a pain killer. Mm-hmm. Is that attractive to people in pain? Probably.
Very.
Yeah. And somebody might say, well, you can just stretch and you can just drink warm milk before you go to bed. Da, 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 da. Somebody says, dude, I got a bar of Xanax. And I got things to do.
It'll work just as well for you.
I got things to do and I got a bar of Xanax. Yeah. Thanks anyway. And by the way, I found out that when you mix a bar of Xanax with a shot of Johnny Walker Red, bam!
Check, please.
You forget about you forget the pain ever started.
Yeah. No, I'm serious. What starts a lot of people addicted to opiate medication. Fentanyl is the killer now. Morphine, Demerol, Dilaudid, all of them. Vicodin, Norcos started off as pain avoidance, a result of a surgery, so to speak. So you get a medical script for pain relief because you had oral surgery. You had your wisdom teeth taken out. Mine were obviously taken out a long time ago because I don't know if I'm making any sense right now.
Yeah. You're making great sense, okay. But I will tell you that fentanyl has become a big problem in the system.
It's horrible.
And it's not only just creating addictions, it's causing deaths.
But that's really been brutal. But in the meantime, what it's causing is people that are otherwise just doing life okay, and then they have a surgery of some sort, and then they find that it's good for other pain. It's good for emotional pain. It's good for stress. Really good. These things are really
anxiety even.
And anxiety, or the benzodiazepine like Xanax and Ativan. So we have something for everything that's causing us discomfort. Can't get to sleep. Well, here, take 2 of these. Another one. Well, I can't. I'm having trouble getting up in the morning. Well, then take this one. Well, but now I'm having trouble taking a nap mid-morning. Well, take this other one. And then, hey, I bruised my knee. I saw you did it on purpose. Yeah, because I need something for that pain. I'm not kidding. People do this, really. And it's and I don't want to go off. That's a diversion, but it is so easy to acquire and to partake in psychoactive drugs. Alcohol, it's not only legal, it is absolutely indoctrinated into our culture.
Yeah.
To the point where not being a drinker at particular functions is the abnormal behavior. Yeah. Seriously.
No, absolutely.
Going to a wedding, it's going to be dry, meaning no alcohol. Oh. It's going to be a dry. Oh, I'm busy that day, man. That's when I get my cat cleaned. So anyway, I know I got off track on that, but the critical issue is to differentiate the person in the system that really is motivated to commit crime for crime's sake.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the person who is leaning in that direction because of a history that normalized those kind of behaviors.
Yeah.
And they've never had an opportunity to try a different set of behaviors out because they've never been behavior free in a negative way for any length of time. Yeah. If you live in a certain way only, that's normal for you. And to have somebody come in and say, listen, we'd like you to do life differently if you want to stay out of jail and this and that and the other thing. There's going to be a resistance to that because your habits are very self-protective. They've been built up over time as a protection. And until you take a look at something like the Journey Letter or the Journey Letter specifically, it really shows you from an observer's standpoint that this stuff is weird. I mean, this stuff is bad. Yeah. You don't know it when it's you. Yeah. So right now, it's like this. If you had a tumor on your rib, like say the size of a walnut, and you didn't really know about it, but I could pull it out of you and say, this is what's on your rib. Don't you think you'd be motivated to go to the doctor? I mean, rather than me just saying, you might have a tumor. You might have a tumor on your rib. You're going,
oh, I feel fine.
Yeah, and you do feel fine because you can't feel it.
I can't feel it.
But I pull it out and there's a pulse on it and it's discolored and there's hairs growing out of it. And I say, I'm trying to be descriptive. I say, this is growing on your rib. And then I put it back in there. You don't think you'd be up and gone to the doctor?
Yeah, this is 2 seconds.
Yeah, well, this is what the Journey Letter is.
Yeah.
It's that tumor that you're looking at, and it's scary, but it's real.
And it gives you the opportunity to take care of it.
The motive.
And the motive, yes.
I did this. This is where I came from. This is what happened to me. And then, God, this is what I'm doing to my own kids. Because that's what I'm getting when I have people coming in for the therapy, is I didn't realize this is what I'm doing to my kid. You know, I'm complaining in my Journey Letter that all my mother did was scream bloody murder at me and call me a little whore. Yeah. That's what I do to my kids. I'm doing the same thing. I had a client 2 weeks ago, came in, a 36-year-old young lady. She has 2 kids and a little girl, about 8 years old. And she said she heard herself even sounding like her mother with the same exact response to her perception that her daughter was misbehaving. Maybe her daughter was misbehaving, but what she was doing was focusing on the daughter until she remembered that she had written in that Journey Letter that that's what her complaint was, or that's what her memory was being called a little whore at age 8 at the top of her mother's throat bulging voice. She said, that was me. And she started bawling her eyes out. I said, well, good. I mean, it's now we have something we can
work with,
focus on. But she would not have seen that. She would not have, I would never have known about it had she not made that connection.
Yeah, she probably wouldn't have known about it if she hadn't written it in the Journey Letter.
That's exactly what I'm, And then she saw it as an observer. She saw herself doing what she was on the receiving end of. Her mother never did a Journey Letter, you know. And so,
that would continue down the generational line if it wasn't intercepted, essentially.
And it's like a chain. It's like a chain with a bunch of links, man. And until one of those links gets disconnected, that chain is going to continue on, and it does. And it takes a lot of courage for people to, number one, sit down with a number 2 pencil and to put 100 pages together, one word at a time, because they are going to re-experience the emotional content of those memories. And but as a therapist, you just keep reminding them, none of these feelings are going to kill you. They're going to be uncomfortable. Exactly. You might not like them, but the more you deal with it, the less impact, the less of a hold they'll have on your decision making. And every one of them that I've ever worked with has told me that that's absolutely true. After a while, it's just like reading a Stephen King novel. Or it's like reading a story. It's not. It's not.
It's no longer as gripping, and it doesn't put you through the emotions like you, because now you have learned to overcome those emotions and overcome a lot of those issues.
You don't overcome them. You dull to them. You accept them as normal.
Okay.
When you accept an emotion, it really doesn't have much fun. It's when you're fighting it that it causes all the trouble. True. You say, hey, it's normal for you to be upset about this. You shouldn't have been treated that way.
Yeah.
What 8-year-old deserves to be called a whore at the top of someone's lungs that you depend on, which is an abandonment. Yeah. Abandonment isn't an event. It's a series of thousands of events, you know, and that's one of them, is to have the one person in life you depend on and love and trust to look at you with disgust and words in a language that are just baffling and terrifying.
Yeah.
You know, that is abandonment right then and there.
It comes in so many ways too. It's just literally criticizing. I've had teachers say things to students that are so brutal that the student is remembering them now 20 years later and saying, even my teacher thought I was a worthless piece of scum. And but the interesting thing is they go through the drug issue and alcohol. They write the letter and work with the therapist. And as I've said, they become the future of helping other people not go through that. So you become very proud of them, and they become very strong emotionally because they suddenly realize I've been made stronger by the work that I've done. So what was debilitating me, I've now conquered, and I'm going to help other people do the same.
Yeah,
exactly.
I beat the tumor. I overcame the tumor, and now it'll never hurt me again. It won't come back to me. I already proved that I was stronger than that.
I fought the tumor, and the tumor didn't win. I think it's a song by Eric Clapton.
Yeah, I like it too. I sing it often.